Before I begin, I need you to understand something. Not from your ears, but from your spirit. What I'm about to say is not just another speech. It's a wake-up call. Because too many of you are still holding on to people who were never meant to stay. Too many of you are building your life around voices that were only supposed to echo for a season. This is not just words, it is truth forged through fire, carved in solitude, and baptized in betrayal. Some of you are hurt right now, not because you were weak, but because you expected permanence in a world designed for transition. You gave your loyalty to what was only meant to pass through. You built homes in people's hearts that were never meant to house you. And now you wonder why it hurts when they leave. But today, you will understand. Today, I will speak to the part of you that's still bleeding silently. I will confront the lie that told you they would always be there. I will tell you the hard truth, that no one stays with you permanently, and I will show you why that is not your downfall, but your breakthrough. If you're tired of being broken by departures, if you're tired of begging people to stay, if you're ready to walk into your destiny without needing applause or company, then you must hear every word of what's coming next. Because this message isn't just about who left you. It's about who you are becoming because they did. Stay with me. This may hurt, but it will set you free. Let me tell you something many people are too afraid to say. People are not permanent. They are seasonal. They come into your life like the wind, some to cool you, some to shake you, some to carry you, and others only to pass through. But none of them were ever meant to stay forever. And the sooner you accept that, the freer you become. You stop anchoring your heart to those who are only passing by. You stop asking why they left, and instead, you start understanding why they came in the first place. Some people were never assigned to your destiny, only to your development. They were there to teach you, to sharpen you, to reveal something about yourself, or to redirect your focus. But when their season ends, it's not punishment. It's purpose unfolding. You see, when the tree grows, some branches must break off. Not because the tree hates the branch, but because the weight can't be carried any longer. If it tries to hold on, the tree itself suffers. That's what many of you are doing, carrying dead branches out of guilt, out of fear, out of memories. But you're not called to carry people forever. You're called to carry purpose. There are people who made you laugh in one season, but they can't walk with you in the next one. There are friends who were close to you when you were broken, but they become distant when you start to heal. Why? Because some people are comfortable with your weakness. They like you when you're small, when you need them, when you're not rising too fast. But the moment your spirit begins to rise, they begin to fade. And that's not evil. That's nature. Don't be surprised when the leaves fall in autumn. It's the cycle of life. Just because someone was there during your planting season doesn't mean they'll be there during your harvest. You must learn how to discern the difference between a lifetime connection and a seasonal visitor. Not everyone who cries with you can build with you. Not everyone who cheers for you today will stay when the battle gets bloody. And not everyone who walks in love knows how to walk in loyalty. No. Stop mistaking proximity for purpose. Stop confusing presence with alignment. Some people are close, but they are not connected. They're around you, but they are not for you. They are curious, but not committed. And when you start rising, when you start changing, when you start stepping into the version of you that scares them, they will go. And they must. And let me tell you something even deeper. Some people don't leave because they hate you. Some leave because your light reveals their darkness. Your growth exposes their comfort. Your faith threatens their fear. You didn't push them away. They pulled back when your calling got louder than their control. That's why you must not take every departure personally. Some exits are divine. Some losses are lessons. Some breakups are breakthroughs. And some goodbyes are actually gifts. It's not your job to keep people who have already let go. Stop fighting to be understood by those who were never meant to comprehend you. Stop begging for space in the hearts of those whose time in your story has expired. You don't owe anyone a seat in your future just because they were present in your past. This journey you're on is sacred, and not everyone qualifies to walk with you to the end. Some people are just here to walk you to the gate. After that, you must go alone. It hurts. I know how it feels to hold on to someone with your whole heart only to realize their hands were never strong enough to carry yours. I know the pain of loyalty given to those who never planned to stay. But even in that pain, there is a gift, because now you know. Now you can release. Now you can breathe. Now you can finally stop expecting permanence in a place designed for transition. You must become comfortable with the idea that people will come and go. And that's okay. What matters is not who left, but what you became when they did. Some losses are actually alignment. Some endings are God's way of making space for what's greater. And if you keep looking at who walked away, you will miss who is about to enter. Life doesn't stop because someone exited. Your calling doesn't change because someone gave up. You are still chosen, still called, still capable. Let them go and keep moving, because the truth is simple and unshakable. People are seasonal, but purpose is eternal. There are places in your destiny where not everyone can go. That's not just a statement. It's a reality that will define how far you rise, how deeply you grow, and how clearly you walk in your calling. We all love the idea of walking our journey, surrounded by familiar faces, hand in hand with those who've always been with us. But purpose doesn't work like that. Purpose has a price, and part of that price is separation. Sometimes God will separate you not to punish you, but to prepare you. He will remove people not because you are wrong, but because your next level requires a level of focus and consecration that their presence cannot support. Some of you are trying to drag people into a future that was never written with them in mind. You're delaying your breakthrough because you're afraid to walk alone. But hear me clearly, there are battles you must fight in silence, in solitude, and in surrender. That because you're unloved, but because you're chosen. You can't bring everyone with you. That's the harsh truth. Not because they're evil, not because they're failures, but because their role in your life was never meant to reach your next chapter. Some were there for comfort, not construction. Others were placed in your story to help you survive, but not to help you build. There are moments when purpose demands you to walk away from familiarity and step into faith. And when that moment comes, you have to be bold enough to let go, not out of pride, but out of obedience. You see, growth requires isolation, and isolation doesn't mean you're forgotten. It means you're being forged. The greatest oil is pressed in private. The sharpest weapons are crafted in silence. Stop viewing your loneliness as a curse. It is often the tool used to cut away distraction. When the crowd thins out, clarity steps in. When the noise dies down, purpose becomes louder. And it is in that quiet, that divine separation, that your true identity begins to emerge. Too many people are suffocating their calling because they're addicted to company. You want everyone to clap for you, to understand you, to stand with you. But let me ask you, what if they never do? What if the crowd never returns? Will you still rise? Will you still build? Will you still obey? Because your assignment was never meant to be validated by people. Your mission didn't come with a vote. You were chosen before anyone had an opinion. And that means your purpose will often call you to stand in places where no one is left but you. I know it's not easy. I know the silence can feel heavy, and the separation can sting like betrayal. But what feels like loss is often protection. Some of the people you missed the most were the very ones who would have sabotaged your next level. Their mindset couldn't grow with you. Their spirit couldn't carry the weight of your anointing. And if they stayed, they would have limited what God was trying to release in you. So he took them away, not because you're unworthy of love, but because you're worthy of greatness. Purpose doesn't pamper you. It provokes you. It calls you into uncomfortable places. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and detachment. It strips you of dependency so you can learn to depend only on the one who called you. So stop resenting the separation. Start recognizing it. Start thanking God that certain doors were closed, that certain people walked away, that certain relationships didn't survive. Because if they had stayed, you would still be playing small. You would still be bending your vision to fit their comfort. You would still be trying to shrink yourself to keep their peace. But that's not why you were chosen. You were chosen to rise, to break barriers. To break barriers. To lead with fire in your bones and truth in your mouth. And you can't do that if you're still chained to who you used to be. You can't become who you're meant to be while clinging to who you were when they loved you. Some versions of you must die so the real one can live. And that resurrection often begins with separation. So if you find yourself walking alone right now, don't panic. You're not lost, you're being positioned. You're not forsaken, you're being formed. And when the time comes, those who are meant to walk with you will recognize you by your fruit, not your loneliness. But until then, walk. Even if it's quiet, Even if it hurts, even if no one understands, walk. Because the path may be narrow, but the glory waiting at the end of it is worth every lonely step. Loyalty is a word that's thrown around so easily, but lived out by so few. We all want people who will stay, who will stand beside us through every storm, who will defend us in our absence and walk with us when the path is dark. But in a world driven by convenience and comfort, true loyalty has become rare. Most people are loyal as long as it costs them nothing. As long as their name stays clean, as long as their benefit remains secure, as long as their comfort isn't threatened. But the moment loyalty becomes inconvenient, most people disappear. And that's why you can't build your life on the promises of people who are only committed when it's easy. You must stop expecting permanence from those who were never anchored in conviction. Because loyalty, real loyalty, is not about being there when it feels good. It's about staying even when it hurts, even when it costs, even when standing with you means standing against the current. But the world has trained many to think in terms of transactions. What can you do for me? How do you benefit me? And the moment your struggle stops serving them, they look for a way out. You have to open your eyes and see this clearly. Not everyone who walks with you is loyal to you. Some are loyal to the version of you that served their ego. Some are loyal to the idea of you, not the reality. Some stay close only because you're beneficial, not because you're valuable to their heart, but because you're useful to their journey. And the danger is when you begin to confuse presence with loyalty. Just because they're still around doesn't mean they're with you. Proximity doesn't mean allegiance. It's when the storm hits that masks fall off. When trials come, loyalty is tested. And often, you won't even need to ask who's real. Time and pressure will reveal them. The ones who only celebrated you when you were strong will vanish when you're weak. The ones who praised you in public may betray you in silence. That's the world we live in. And if you're not rooted in something deeper, you will be broken by disappointment over and over again. But here's what you must understand. People failing you is not your failure. Their inconsistency is not your responsibility. You must stop internalizing every betrayal as a reflection of your worth. Some people will walk away, not because you weren't enough, but because they never had the character to stay. Loyalty is a reflection of them, not you. Don't let the disloyalty of others shrink the fire in your spirit. Don't let their silence rob your voice. Don't let their absence make you question your direction. You must learn to anchor yourself in purpose, not popularity. In calling, not company. If you live for applause, you'll die from rejection. But when you know who you are, when your heart is grounded in truth, people can come and go, and you will still stand. You don't need a crowd to be faithful. You don't need a cheerleader to stay obedient. Your mission doesn't depend on their agreement. You were called, chosen, and equipped before they ever showed up, and you will still be called, even after they walk away. There comes a time in every person's life where you must decide, will you continue depending on people who waver with every wind, or will you stand on the rock of who you are, unmoved by shifting loyalty? Because the deeper your calling, the smaller your circle becomes. Not everyone can go with you into the fire. Not everyone can carry the weight of what's coming. Some people were only meant to celebrate your beginning, but they don't have the strength to sustain your middle, and that's okay. Don't curse those who leave you, thank them. Because in their absence, you gain clarity. In their betrayal, you find your own strength. In their silence, you begin to hear God more clearly. What you thought was abandonment was actually alignment. What felt like rejection was redirection. And what looked like a loss was preparation for a greater season. You must become so grounded in your assignment that the shifting loyalty of others can't shake your stability. Let them change. Let them switch. Let them turn. Let them turn. But you, stay rooted, stay disciplined, stay focused. Because the ones who truly matter, the ones who are sent, not just attached, will not run when the fire gets hot. They will remain. And until then, walk alone if you must, but never compromise your path to keep people beside you. Some people will only love the version of you they can control. But your growth threatens their comfort. Your strength exposes their weakness. So when they go, let them. And when they stay silent, speak louder. Because loyalty may be rare, but your calling is unshakable. At the end of the day, your journey is yours alone. No matter how many people start with you, no matter who claps for you in the beginning, no matter who says I'm with you forever, when things are easy, there comes a point where every man and woman must walk alone. Not because people are evil, not because you failed, but because there are paths so narrow that no hand can hold yours. No friend can carry your burden, and no voice can replace the sound of your own conviction. That's the reality you must embrace if you truly want to fulfill your purpose. We live in a world where people are addicted to validation. You want someone to believe in your vision, to support your dream, to walk with you when things get hard. But what happens when nobody sees it? What happens when no one claps? What happens when the people you thought would be there slowly drift away, one by one? Will you still rise? Will you still build? Will you still move forward even when the only one cheering for you is your own reflection in the mirror? You must understand this truth. Some battles are designed to be fought in silence. Some victories are birthed in rooms where no one is watching. Some chapters of your life are written with tears. No one sees and sacrifices, no one applauds. And if you're not ready for that kind of isolation, you're not ready for destiny. Because elevation often begins in obscurity. Before anyone recognizes your value, you have to recognize it yourself. Before anyone supports your vision, you must be willing to walk it alone. It's not your job to make everyone understand. Some people will never see what you carry. They'll doubt you, mock you, misunderstand your actions, question your decisions. But you're not walking for them. You're walking because you were called. And the weight of that calling doesn't get lighter because people leave. It gets heavier, and your strength must grow to match it. That's why your journey cannot be built on the shoulders of others. People can encourage you, but they cannot carry you. They can support you, but they cannot sustain you. The moment you begin to rely on others to validate your steps, you've already lost control of your direction. The most dangerous place to be is where your destiny is tied to someone else's approval. Because when they withdraw, you fall. When they go silent, you freeze. When they stop believing, you stop moving. But that is not the mindset of someone who is truly called. A chosen one keeps walking, even when misunderstood, even when mocked, even when no one follows. A chosen one does not beg to be seen, does not wait to be applauded, does not need to be carried, because they understand something deep. No one can walk this road but them. And when you reach those lonely stretches, when the silence becomes deafening, and the weight of the journey starts to feel unbearable, remember this: you are never truly alone. You are being watched, not by the crowd, but by heaven. Your consistency in isolation is what qualifies you for visibility. Your faithfulness in hidden places is what prepares you for the public stages. You're being trained when no one is looking. You're being refined when no one is listening. And if you stay the course, if you refuse to turn back, you will look up one day and realize you've become the kind of person others quietly admire, but could never endure being. So walk, even when your legs tremble. Speak even when your voice shakes. Build even when your hands are tired. There is no applause in the wilderness, but that's where leaders are made. That's where warriors are born. That's where character is forged. And when the time comes, when the doors open and the light shines on you, they will see the fruit. They will never understand the fight it took to grow it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your calling. You don't need their support to start, and you won't need their presence to finish. This road was designed for your feet alone. So stop looking back. Stop waiting for someone to join you. Stop stalling because they left. The one who begins with many must be willing to finish with few. And the one who finishes with none must be strong enough to still call it victory. Because in the end, no one stays with you permanently, but purpose does.